أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله تعالى على حبيبه محمد وآله وسلم. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our segment on Surah At-Tawba. Inshallah, today we will cover the third ruku of Surah At-Tawba, verses 17 to 24. The previous ruku ended on the note that everyone gets tested on how much they strive to stay on the right path, regardless the level of faith they might have. Those who strive to stay connected to Allah and the Holy Prophet ﷺ, are in a different category than those who do not. Allah is always aware of our thoughts, intentions, and actions. We need to be mindful at all times and stay steadfast on the right path. May Allah grant us the ability to understand the true meanings of the Quran by the grace of His Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Ameen. With this dua, let's begin the third ruku of Surah At-Tawba. Verse 17. ما كان للمشركين أن يعمروا مساجد الله شاهدين على أنفسهم بالكفر أولئك هبطت أعمالهم وفي النار هم خالدون. It is not for the mushrikeen to maintain the mosques of Allah while witnessing against themselves with denial. For those are worthless their deeds, and in the fire they will abide eternally. Yamuru means maintain, to continuously take care. This verse is stating those who are mushrikeen cannot be on the straight path because they are always in a state of denial. They are not capable to be a good role model in the society because what they say and do is not who they truly are. They strive only for their own selfish purposes and gains. Any good actions they take is just for show, and unfortunately, their good deeds will go to waste. And as long as they are in this state, they will be punished in the eternal fire of hell. Shirk is a great injustice, and Allah does not forgive those who commit shirk. And this is also stated in Surah An-Nisa in verse 116. We need to take a look at our own selves and be mindful and extra cautious that we don't fall in the category of the mushrikeen. Let's go on to verse 18. إِنَّمَا يَعْمُرُ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ مَنْ أَمَانَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَأَقَامَ الصَّلَاةَ وَأَتَى الزَّكَاةَ وَلَمْ يَخْشَ إِلَّا اللَّهَ فَعَسَى أُولَئِكَ أَن يَكُونُوا مِنَ الْمُهْتَدِينَ. Only will maintain the mosques of Allah those who believe in Allah and the last day, and establish salah and give zakah, and are not cautious except with Allah. For it is most probable that these will be the guided ones. Yakhsha means cautious, careful to avoid potential problems, careful not to hurt Allah or make Allah angry. The previous verse described the mushrikeen, those who were concerned with just their own self and the material world. This verse describes those who are the guided ones. They are those with imaan. They have belief in the oneness of Allah. Those who believe in the hereafter and understand that they are accountable for their own actions. Those who establish salah are in constant connection with Allah and the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Those who give zakah to purify themselves, and those who are cautious of Allah that He doesn't get angry. These characteristics of those who are guided by Allah is also mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah in verses 3 to 5. Let's go on to verse 19. أَجَعَلْتُمْ سِقَايَةَ الْحَاجِ وَإِمَارَةَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ كَمَّنْ أَمَانَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَجَهَادَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ لَا يَسْتَوُونَ عِندَ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Do you make the providing of drinking water to the pilgrims and the maintenance of Al-Masjid al-Haram equal to one who believes in Allah and the last day and strives in the way of Allah? Not they are equal in the sight of Allah, and Allah does not guide the wrongdoing people. Siqayat means providing of drinking water. Imarata means maintenance. Yastauna means they are equal. This verse highlights the distinction between those who practice basic rituals versus those who are always connected to Allah and strive in His way. An example is given here of those who provide water and take care of Al-Masjid al-Haram. They are not equal in the eyes of Allah with those who are constantly striving in Allah's way and know that they are accountable for their own actions at every moment. There is a difference in being committed to something for a short period of time versus making a commitment long term. Those who do things just for the sake of doing them so they can check it off their list are cutting themselves short and are not being just to themselves. They are losing out on the opportunity to ascend spiritually and increase their level of faith. They fall in the category of the wrongdoers. And Allah does not guide the wrongdoing people. And this is also stated in Surah Al-Baqarah in verse 258. After reflecting on this verse, we need to ask ourselves if we fall in this category of people. Let's go on to verse 20. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَهَاجَرُوا وَجَاهَدُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ أَعْظَمُ دَرَجَةً عِندَ اللَّهِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَائِزُونَ. Those who believed, emigrated, and strived in the cause of Allah with their wealth and their lives are greater in rank in the sight of Allah, and it is those who are the successful. Azamu means greater. Al-Fa'izun means the successful. As mentioned in the previous verse, we should take advantage of the time that we have in this life and make the most of it for ourselves so we can be successful in this life and the hereafter. And if we want to increase our rank in Allah's eyes, then the formula is given here in this verse. Number 1, have imaan, the belief in the oneness of Allah. Number 2, emigrate, abandon our old ways and beliefs and adjust our life according to the guidance of Allah and His beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We need to change our current state to a different state, and this applies to both physical migration and also non-physical migration as in mental or migration of the mind, changing one's state of mind. And number 3, we need to strive with our life and wealth in the way of Allah. Let's go on to verses 21 and 22. يُبَشِّرُهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِرَحْمَةٍ مِّنْهُ وَرِضْوَانٍ وَجَنَّةٍ لَهُمْ فِيهَا نَعِيمٌ مُقِيمٌ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ إِنْدَهُ أَجْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. Their Lord gives them glad tidings of mercy from Him and approval, and gardens for them in it is bliss enduring, abiding therein forever. Indeed, Allah has with Him a great reward. Na'imun means bliss, as in pleasure and happiness. This verse is speaking of those successful ones that were mentioned in the previous verse. For them, there is good news from their Lord, that they have been granted mercy and approval, and have obtained the pleasure of Allah and His beloved Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and there are tranquil gardens to enjoy in forever. This is also mentioned in Surah Al-Bayyinah in verse 8. Let's go on to verse 23. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, la tattakhizu aba'akum wa ikhwanakum أولياء الناس تحب الكفر على الإيمان ومن يتولهم منكم فأولئك هم الظالمون. O you who believe, do not take your fathers and your brothers as allies, if they love denial over belief. And whoever does so among you, then it is those who are the wrongdoers. Astahabbu means they love, they are connected to. This verse is addressing the believers. Allah is telling us to not make friendships with those who are in denial of the truth, and they don't believe in Allah's oneness. Being in their company can deter us from the straight path. And if we stray far from the straight path, our focus shifts from the oneness of Allah to the material world, and we become of the wrongdoers. Let's go on to verse 24. قُلْ إِنْ كَانَ أَبَاؤُكُمْ وَأَبْنَاؤُكُمْ وَإِخْوَانُكُمْ وَأَزْوَاجُكُمْ وَعَشِيرَتُكُمْ وَأَمْوَالٌ اقْتَرَفْتُمُوهَا وَتِجَارَةٌ تَخْشَوْنَ كَسَادَهَا وَمَسَاكِنُ تَرْضَوْنَهَا أَحَبَّ إِلَيْكُمْ مِنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَجِهَادٍ فِي سَبِيلِهِ فَتَرَبَّصُوا حَتَّى يَأْتِيَ اللَّهُ بِأَمْرِهِ وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الْفَاسِقِينَ. Say, if your fathers, your sons, your brothers, your wives, your relatives, wealth which you have acquired, commerce wherein you fear a decline in it, and dwellings with which you are pleased, are more beloved to you than Allah and His Messenger, and striving in His way, then wait until Allah executes His command. And Allah does not guide the defiantly disobedient people. Allah has listed here in this verse the various ways that can deter us from our imaan, our belief in the oneness of Allah. We need to be extra cautious because we can easily get sidetracked, sometimes unknowingly. We need to always be in the care of Allah mode and remind ourselves that everything is from Allah and everything belongs to Allah, to Him alone and not to us. None of these things listed will be of any help to us after we die. And this is the hard and clear truth. It is clearly stated here that if we don't love Allah or His Messenger, the Holy Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, more than anything else, and we don't strive in His way, despite knowing the truth, then we fall in the category of the fasiqeen, the defiantly disobedient, and we will not be guided. And this is also stated in Surah Al-Sajdah in verse 20. This concludes our segment on Ruku 3 of Surah At-Tawba. Let's briefly go over what we discussed. Those who are mushrikeen strive for their self-interests and personal gains instead of striving in Allah's way. They have gone astray and can never be on the straight path as long as they commit shirk. The guided ones are those who have imaan, believe in the hereafter, establish salah, give zakah, and those who are cautious of Allah. The formula to increase your rank in the eyes of Allah is to have imaan, belief in the oneness of Allah, to emigrate, abandon our old ways and beliefs and change ourselves for the better, and to strive with our lives and wealth in the way of Allah. It is necessary for the believers to love Allah and His beloved Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, more than anything else, and the practical proof of love is to follow their orders wholeheartedly. May Allah grant us the ability to understand the Holy Quran and its true meanings in light of the life and guidance of Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. Thank you for joining us for this segment. Until next time. Sadaqallahul Aliyyul Azim. Allah speaks the truth, the exalted, the great. Sallallahu ta'ala ala habibihi Muhammadiyum wa alihi wasallam.